the Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
The crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
Dave Montgomery and the Lions, former Bear, gonna make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's a flag. There's flag. There's flag. There's flag. There's flag. Snap. Hold. Kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They open. No!
What happened? Oh shit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an edition of Only Football that we haven't done here before. As you guys know, I like to put in bets and it makes the games a lot of fun. But what I haven't done is share them. I share them during streams, but I've given nobody an opportunity to maybe want to tail some of these bets. And look, there's certain games that just have a look to them where you're like, that's going to, damn it, Georgia just scored. I am watching the Florida State-Florida game. There's a couple different people that have been tailing me on Twitter. So I thought, look, if people care enough to follow a complete stranger's advice, although I have been doing pretty well, I wanted to share something cool with you guys. So at the end of the year, FanDuel sent me a message. And they showed me what my most bet on teams were. Okay. As you can imagine, the Denver Broncos are on the list. And that is definitely follow your head, not your heart. But the other two teams, the Jacksonville Jaguars, number one team I bet on this year, the Detroit Lions. So it shows here your biggest long shot to win that you actually won was plus 21,676, which means you have a 1 in 21,676 chance of winning that bet, and we won it. Let's get into it. All right, this is going to be a matchup between the running offense for Detroit and the rushing defense for the Cowboys. The Cowboys have struggled recently stopping the run. And that's why they got blown out by Buffalo the way they did. So I'm going to pull up really quick the NFL rushing yards per game. And we're going to look at the last three games from Dallas. Okay, the last three games, Dallas is ranked on the season. They're ranked 12th. In the last three games, Dallas ranks 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16, 17th. So right in the middle of being in the bottom half in the NFL, just right there, just missed the front half. But I do think that there's going to be some running going on tonight. That's going to be a huge part of the game plan. Real quick, I do want to address the chat. What's up, guys? We got Doggo in here. We got the little E that could in here. What's up, little E? And we got, of course, we got Brother May in here. Let's talk about this game. Okay. I have a couple things in right now. These aren't going to be super long videos, but just giving people an opportunity to jump in. All right. Now, for the people that aren't, following this channel, I'm going to get right into it so they don't have to fast forward too far to get to the meat and potatoes of this whole entire thing. Okay. So here we go. I put in this one that I think this is my for sure bet. So for those that don't know, what I normally do is I'll put in a couple bets that are between $5 and $1. But then I have one bet that I'll put like $20 on that I think is for sure going to happen. This guarantees me, gives me some sort of guarantee. So here's my guarantee for today. And if Rick were here, he would say something of value, Kyle's guarantee. But here we go. Jahmyr Gibbs, 25 rushing yards. Jahmyr Gibbs is rushing the football really well right now. Dallas's defense is struggling. Yes, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to run the football for 25 yards. Jared Goff, 200 yards passing. The only thing that concerns me about the 200 yards passing is not Dallas's defense. It's if they're going to, let's say Dallas can't stop running the football. Well, Detroit might not pivot, from rushing the football. So that is something I'm looking at. But both these teams play in a dome. So whether or not a factor, I think that really kind of benefits the passing game. Whereas that other game happened outside in Buffalo. And I believe it was windy that day. So just not a good day for throwing the football, not good conditions. So I think as far as Jared Goff throwing for 200 yards, I don't think it's a long shot at all. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, of course, having an incredible year, 225 passing yards. I think Dak is good to throw for 225. CeeDee Lamb, 5 receptions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4 receptions. Sam Laporta, 3 receptions. And Tony Pollard, the running back on the other end, to have 40 yards rushing. Okay, so that one's not bad. That's the guaranteed bet. That one is $20, pays out $130. And when I go through that, it's like, which one of those things, is really unlikely to happen? None of them. They're all looking pretty good. Okay, so let's get to some of my long shots. Okay, of course, I got one where I try to predict who's going to score touchdown. So here we go. CeeDee Lamb touchdown, Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown, David Montgomery touchdown. It has not been uncommon for Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery to both get in the end zone. I think part of that is because Jahmyr Gibbs a lot of times gets in the end zone. He's in the beginning of the season, it was definitely David Montgomery. Now it's kind of shifted. David Montgomery had to sit out a couple games and Jahmyr Gibbs really took off. So I really think it's about as 50-50 as it can be. So yeah, why not take them both in a game where I'm expecting there to be a lot of scoring? And then CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard, those are the two that I think are the most likely for the Cowboys. So there you go. And then CeeDee Lamb, 70 yards receiving, Tony Pollard, 25 receiving yards. They've used Tony Pollard as a dump off pass. I think he gets 25 yards on a couple screens, maybe even early in the game. Michael Gallup, 25 yards receiving. Jahmyr Gibbs, 40 rushing yards. David Montgomery, 25 rushing yards. Jared Goff, 2 passing touchdowns. Tony Pollard, 25 rushing touchdowns. Dak Prescott to also have 2 passing touchdowns. Both quarterbacks, this one I have Dak Prescott hitting 250 yards passing and Jared Goff hitting 225. So I increased them both by 25 yards. Michael Gallup over 17.5 receiving yards. Tony Pollard over 18.5 receiving yards. CeeDee Lamb over 98.5 receiving yards. Sam Laporta over 50. Jahmyr Gibbs over 23. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 82. And that is a $10 that pays out $6,800. So I think if we just find ourselves in a situation like we did on Thursday night with the Cleveland Browns and the Jets, as long as this game is going somewhat back and forth and both offenses are efficient in this game, these are all very, very likely to happen. You just hope nobody gets injured. I think the biggest thing when you stretch a parlay out to around 15 legs, and that is you just don't know who's going to get hurt. And there's always somebody that gets hurt, and you do take that risk. And not to say hopefully they get what you needed them to get before that happens, but of course you want to make sure that you get what you needed for your parlay to hit. But really, you just wish nobody got injured, but it's part of the game. However, I don't since it's impossible to know who's going to get hurt, I don't try to, bet according to who gets hurt or anything like that. In every one of my bets, I assume that this is going to be a fully healthy football game. I don't know if other people, factor in injury, but I don't. Okay. And then here is the other one. I have Detroit Lions plus 5.5. And I mentioned this. There's not a good reason to believe that the Cowboys are going to destroy the Lions, in my opinion. And I think you could really make a case that Detroit's the better football team, even though the Cowboys have been playing really good. I think this is going to go back and forth, and I do think the Cowboys have the edge here being at home. But 5.5 points, I could totally see this game coming down to a field goal, and I could also see Detroit just winning it straight up. So I like Detroit plus 5.5. Over 52.5 points. I think both teams score, closer to 30. CD Lamb, anytime touchdown. Sam Laporta, anytime touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, anytime touchdown. So I took away David Montgomery on this one and just left Jahmyr Gibbs, since he's been kind of trending in the touchdown zone a little bit better. Dak Prescott, I don't have the numbers to back that up, but just as a viewer, it seems like Jahmyr Gibbs, I would just rather have him if I had to pick one. And then Dak Prescott over 286 yards, Jared Goff over 257, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Dak Prescott to have 2, Jared Goff 225 yards, Tony Pollard 40 rushing yards, Jared Goff 2 passing touchdowns, David Montgomery 25 rushing yards, CD Lamb only 70 receiving yards, and then Jake Ferguson 25 receiving yards, Amon-Ra St. Brown 40 receiving yards, and Jamison Williams 25. That is a $10 that pays out $1,273. I think that that one's not too much of a long shot, especially for being one of the long shot bets. So yeah, man, I wanted to give the internet an opportunity to maybe if you want to tail these bets, wanted to make them somewhat public. I'm gonna go on my Twitter, and if you guys follow me at FTBLONLYPODCAST, which is Football Only Podcast, which I just found out that is way too complicated for a Twitter name, but I'm not sure how to fix it. But I'm going to be posting these so you guys can have the visual, and we'll be tracking them together. Of course, this game is going to kick off at 7:15 tonight, which will be happening right after the Florida State-Georgia game. So I'm going to continue to enjoy this Georgia-Florida State game, and I look forward to jumping on here tonight for what I think is going to be an awesome game. Thank you guys, everybody that came in here, that was in here for this, and hopefully there's enough time between right now and the Lions game for this video to make its way to people that maybe are just on YouTube putting best bets, Lions, Cowboys, trying to, get some kind of input. I hope this video finds you, and if it does, feel free to subscribe and become a member of the channel. Being a member just means you subscribe and hang out with us. So hopefully you're cool with that, and I will see you guys in a little bit for the Lions Cowboys game. See ya!